Today, before moving, let me introduce about this course. This course is all about the Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes. Okay, along with the projects we do, along with the projects we have uh, 6 different projects that we are going to do. We are going we will be going through the projects today. What are the different projects that we have from the deployment to the monitoring? Entire all the stuff will be covered as part of the projects actually. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible, right? Can anyone?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So before moving further, before explaining the syllabus, I need to explain the syllabus. You need to understand what we are going to do in this course. That is why I will be in every batch. I will be planning first session to explain the syllabus. And before explaining the syllabus and the projects, let me introduce myself. I am Shiva. So I have overall 8+ years of experience, almost 9 actually. Okay. So I hold multiple certifications in the DevOps field. I hold AWS Developer Associate, Certified Kubernetes Administrator, and the Terraform Associate certifications. Okay, I work with multiple technologies. I have started my career with like IT career with development with Spring Boot and the Java, and then I have moved towards the DevOps. And I am working as a senior DevOps engineer in one of the IT company. Okay, so that's what my profile. Okay, so yeah, and this course is all about Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes. Okay, so what are the different concepts that we are going to see as part of this course? Before discussing that, you need to understand what are the different prerequisites that are required in order to join this course. Okay, so in order to do that, let me open my Google Docs. Uh, Google Docs. Okay, so we have not this one, not this one, not this one. Okay, let me go here and open my drive. Mhm. Okay, so who can join this course actually? What are the prerequisites that are required for this course? Okay, prerequisites, as we are starting from very scratch level, we are starting from very scratch. By looking at the syllabus, you'll be understanding from what place we are starting this course actually. We are starting this course from what is SDLC. Okay, so we will be starting this course from very scratch, and we will be ending this course with it very advanced level, who can crack the interviews and work in their IT field actually. Okay, so the only prerequisite for you is to have an AWS account. Okay, that is also how to create. I'm going to show AWS account that will be getting for requirements would be, I would suggest to have 4 GB of RAM. Okay, I would suggest to have laptop requirement should be 4 GB of RAM. Okay, so that are the prerequisites that you need to have actually. Only the AWS account as well as the laptop with 4 GB of RAM. Anything is not required other than that. Who can join this course? The freshers, because as we are starting this course from very scratch level. Okay, so the freshers can join this course because yeah, that's the thing. Experienced people, developers, DevOps aspirants, and the testers, Linux admins, and the DB admins, or whatever, it's not IT students or any graduates who are freshly coming from the, like, I mean the freshers, any graduates can join this course actually, because Sorry, the power was gone and the Wi-Fi got switched off. I switched it to my different network. Let me go some people to enable my screen share. Okay, I got an access now. Let me share my screen. See, if you are facing any problem from my side, please help me with the info so that I will be able to solve that problem. Okay, so I think I am audible now, right? So, and my screen is also visible. So let me go to this place. Okay, so who can join this course? Okay, freshers and non-IT students, testers, and all the people who are aspiring to learn these three different tools can join this course actually. Okay, so what are the benefits of joining this course? What you are going to get actually, right? You are going to get the doubt clearing sessions, fully documented notes. For the Docker, we are going to share, for the Docker and Jenkins, we are going to share the documents. And for the Kubernetes, we are going to share the manifest files as part of your drive. Okay, the full hands-on sessions. See, in this course, everything will be in practical. Each and everything will be in practical. First, we are moving. We will be there. We will be seeing the theory concept. Then we will be seeing the diagrammatic part. Then the same thing we are moving towards a practical session. Everything will be structured in a that manner actually. First theory, second practical, second diagrammatic, and the third one is practical manner. Okay, you are going to get the 6 different projects. The 10 different projects is along with the AWS. Actually, it's a previous batch actually. So sorry, you are going to get the 6 different projects, okay, as part of this course. We are going to do, you are going to get the interview questions. Okay, now we will be starting this course from very scratch level, and we will be ending this course at very advanced level where you can work with high complexity environment. Okay, so that's what the benefits of joining this course which you are going to get actually. Okay, what are the timings actually? Daily 1 hour sessions from 9:30 a.m. for you people. Okay, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 or a.m. actually 10:30 a.m. Okay, so that is going to be your timings, and the classes will be there from Monday to Friday. Okay, classes will be there from Monday to Friday. I hope I am audible, right? So
Yes, yes,
yes.
you are audible.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the classes will be there from Monday to Friday. Most of the times, 95% of the times, we are not going to take the classes on weekends. But if you have any doubts in between, when you are practicing in the weekends, then we are going to connect on weekends and to solve your questions or the doubts actually. Okay, so that's what only the Monday to Friday the classes will be there. And the course content, we are moving towards the course content and the projects in the next couple of minutes. Okay, so that's the course content we are moving to see. And the contact information, if you have any non-technical questions. Okay, non-technical questions means suppose there is some problem in accessing your drive. Actually, all the sessions recordings are going to be shared with you as part of the drive. If you are unable to access the drive, such kind of non-technical questions, you can contact these numbers, mobile numbers, and you can mail to this email ID so that they will be in support with you. Okay, so the technical part, I will be there for you, and the non-technical part, the people will from the DURGASOFT will be there for you. Okay, okay. So after the sessions, like everyday session got completed. Okay, so how I am going to support you when you are practicing? Okay, we are going to create our Slack channel or whatever the Telegram channel which we have actually. Okay, I mainly use Slack based on the preference of the students. uh, okay, so we are going to create a Slack channel for you so that you can join. You will be added to that particular Slack channel, so that when you are practicing your labs, everything is practical oriented as part of this course. whenever you are practicing the labs, if you have any questions, you can put that questions as part of the Slack or the Telegram group, which we are going to create, so that immediately we are going to solve your questions, solve your problems. So that is why, that is how we are going to support you. That is how we are going to support you as part of this sessions. Okay, so these are the various things. From looking at this document, you need to clearly understand the only prerequisites for joining this course is the AWS account. That is also how to create this AWS account. I am going to show you. Okay, the minimum laptop requirement for you should be with the 4 GB of RAM. Okay, so because yeah, it should, at least that should be there actually. Okay, most of the laptops will be having this part, no problem. Only that's the requirement, prerequisites you should have actually. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask with this. Okay, if no questions, let's move towards the course content and the projects that we are going to do. Okay, so this is going to be the course content. Okay, we initially start with the basics. Okay, so because you need to understand the basics, right? So basics should be clear first for you. We are going to start the course with, you can understand by looking at the syllabus, we are going to start the course from what is SDLC. Okay, so that basics we are going to start, but where we are going to end, you are also going to observe that. Okay, so is what is SDLC, what is DevOps, where does DevOps position in SDLC, and importance of DevOps in software release process. Okay, what are physical servers, what are virtualization, and what are virtual servers in the cloud, actually in the cloud. Okay, so previously, people used to deploy their applications, put their applications as part of the physical servers. There are some disadvantages of the if you deploy the applications on the physical servers. That is why people went toward the virtualization. If the people uses virtualization to deploy their applications, there are some disadvantages that are there as part of the virtualization as well. That is why the people move towards the Docker. Docker also has some disadvantages. That is why people move towards the Kubernetes. So in such manner, we are going to learn this course, the concepts of this course. Why this problem has been there? Because of this problem, this concept has come. Something like that. Okay. So we are going to learn in that particular manner. Okay, everything will be in practical. Okay, everything will be in practical. Please make sure that. Okay, Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes position in SDLC, and importance of Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes in IT industry. Nowadays, Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes is very important for the people who are the developers as well as the DevOps people, because entire DevOps, these are the main tools as part of the DevOps. Okay, Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes. Okay, now after completing this introduction parts, we will be moving towards the Docker. What is Docker and why we need to use Docker? What are the advantages that you are going to get as part of the Docker? Okay, what are Docker terminology? See, before going to any technology or any tool that you are going to learn, you need to first understand the technology terminologies with that tool, actually, that terminologies with the technology. Okay, so here also we will be first initially focusing on this one. Okay, what is Docker host? What is Docker host actually? What is Docker client? What is Docker daemon? What is Docker registry? What are Docker images actually? What are Docker containers? We will be understanding these simple terms. Okay, why we call those? Okay, we'll be understanding these terms before stepping into the Docker. Okay, we will be seeing the YAML syntax. We need YAML. Okay, YAML is not a programming. Yeah, YAML is not a programming. It's a declarative syntax. It's a declarative programming. It's not a programming. It's a declarative syntax. Uh, you need to use in order to deploy the applications. Okay, we are going to see how to write a YAML files. Okay, now this will be there as part of the Docker introduction. Okay, so we are going to see the Docker architecture. Okay, so how the different components of Docker put together and combine the entire Docker actually. So all these things we are going to see as per the Docker introduction actually. Now next we'll be moving towards the Docker deep dive. Commands that is used in the Docker. What are the different commands that we have, and how to debug that. Okay, debugging commands and different commands that we are going to use actually. Working with Docker images, everything which I mentioned, which is there in this course, everything will be practical. Okay, that's what I mentioned. Understanding the three-tier architecture, explanation of multi-container architecture, right? So in this world, everything is a microservice. This world is a microservice world. Okay, right? So each application should be able to communicate with each other in order to satisfy the user, right? How to establish the communication between the Docker containers? See, what I'm speaking now, it may be sounds like technical for you, but yeah, each and every word which I'm speaking now, it will be very clear for you in the course. Do not worry about this now. Okay. So there should be some communication between the Docker containers. How to establish a communication? We have different options. Okay. So hyphen link flag and the Docker compose option that we have in order to establish the communication between the Docker containers. We are going to see everything will be in practical, which I've already mentioned. Okay, custom Docker images. How to create our own custom Docker image? Okay, see, suppose you have created your Spring Boot application. Okay, your Spring Boot application cannot, like, it's an application. Okay, that application cannot directly put on a server, right? It will not work. Okay, you need, if you are using Docker, you need to convert that Spring Boot application which you have created into a Docker image. Okay, so how to convert that Spring Boot application which you have created, which you have developed, into a Docker image using Docker files? We are going to see as part of this custom Docker images section that we have as part of the Docker. We are focusing on the Docker files. It's a very important concept that are very much focused in the interview. Okay, so okay, we have different keywords that we need to use as part of the Docker file. We are going to see each and every keyword, and everything which I mentioned is will be in a practical only. Okay, first theory, then diagrammatic part, then practical part. Okay, practical part will be always there, but theory and diagrammatic, most of the times it will be there. Okay, 95% of the time it will be there. But yeah, such kind of concepts like Docker files, we cannot draw a diagram. Okay, so like you can draw, but yeah, not more, not entirely a diagrammatic actually. So okay, few parts we can draw a diagram. Okay, so you will be getting visual experience if we are going to draw a diagram, so that's kind of experience you're going to get as well. It will be very helpful for you in order to crack any interview. Okay, so that's a Docker files we are going to see as part of this custom Docker images. Okay, the next thing is Docker volumes and Docker networking. Okay, there are two different types of volumes actually as part of the Docker. Simple Docker volumes, and that other name we have for that is bind modes, and the Docker volume containers or the Docker volumes itself. Okay, so we are going towards these concepts as part of the Docker volumes, everything in practical. And the networking types, as per the networking, we have different types of network as per the Docker. We have bridge, we have host, null, and the overlay network. We will be seeing all this networking and understanding all the things actually. Okay, now everything will be in practical again. Okay, so advanced concepts and projects in Docker. Okay, we are going to see multi-stage Docker builds for our applications. Okay, okay. Sorry, I'm feeling some cough actually. So okay, so multi-stage Docker builds is the way. It's very important way of decreasing the size of the Docker image and increasing the security of our Docker image. Okay, so how that decreases size and increases security of our Docker image, we are going to see. Okay, so multi-stage Docker builds is very important. If you mention this as part of the interview, they will be really impressed. Actually, I'm using multi-stage Docker builds, something like that. Okay, so that's a multi-stage Docker builds. Understanding layers of Docker images. Okay, what are layers in Docker images? Everything in practical again. Projects on Docker and Docker Compose. We are going to do a project on Docker. We are not going to do all the projects at once and all the syllabus at once. We are going to, when we complete Docker, we'll be doing some project, okay, on the concepts of Docker. Okay, like that. Okay, in the middle, you are going to get the projects, but not all projects at once, not all concepts at once, actually, something like that. Okay, so everything, debugging and troubleshooting issues faced in the Docker. Okay, right? So it's very important point actually. You should be able to know if suppose any problem appears. Okay, so you should be able to know how to debug that problem. How you should be able to find the problem actually. How to find the problem. Okay, so how to solve that problem, finding and solving the problem. Okay, so by understanding the problems actually. Okay, so we are going to create the problem and we are going to see the solution, how to solve the problem if any problem appears without our intention. So we are going to solve a problem, how to find and how to solve. In that manner, we are going to see if you need to understand the different problems that are being coming as part of the Docker or any technology, so that it will be very easy for you when you work in a real time. So this is a problem, there will be immediately you will be getting there. This is a problem. Okay, this is a problem. Okay, this is what the solution is. This immediately you are going to solve the things as part of the real time actually. So that is how we are going to design. Okay, we are going to see as part of this course. Okay, now these are the advanced concepts we are going to see, multi-stage Docker and the projects that we are going to debugging and troubleshooting. And the next things, we are moving towards a container orchestration technology. Okay, just a small introduction will be given as part of the Docker Swarm, why the Docker Swarm is not used in the industry, why only the Kubernetes, why the Kubernetes is popular than the Docker Swarm in the industry. We are going to see that actually. Okay, so a small introduction will be given towards the Docker Swarm, and then we will be quickly moving towards the Kubernetes as part of the Docker, after the Docker. Okay, now this is the Docker syllabus that we have discussed until now. Okay, as part of the Kubernetes, first, in this Kubernetes also, why the Kubernetes is there? What is K8s? K8s is a shortcut of Kubernetes. Why the K8s actually? Between the K and S characters, like between the K and S, there are 8 characters. That is why the shortcut of Kubernetes is K8s. Okay, so what is K8s? Okay, what is Kubernetes? Why we need to use Kubernetes? Okay, how to install, what is kubectl client? Okay, we are going to use the kubectl client. Okay, so what is kubectl client? How to install the kubectl client? All those things. Creating Kubernetes cluster with AWS EKS with YAML. Okay, we are going to create a EKS cluster. Okay, with the YAML files. Okay, so okay, we are going to use EKSCTL tool to create a EKS cluster. Okay, so K8s cluster architecture and its components. Okay, each and every technology before understanding, as I mentioned earlier, you need to understand first the terminology of that particular uh, technology actually. Okay, here also we are going to discuss about the Kube API server, controller manager, scheduler, etcd, kubelet, kube proxy, and the container runtime engine. What are all these actually? Okay, we are going to discuss the terminologies before moving further. Okay, explanation of terminologies in Kubernetes. What is pod? What is node? What is node groups? Okay, all these things we are going to see as part of the Kubernetes terminology actually. Now, Kubernetes workloads and resources. Okay, now sorry, Kubernetes, as part of the Kubernetes workloads and resources, we will be seeing init containers, pods, replica sets, deployments, daemon sets, job, cron job, stateful set. These are all the ways which is used in order to deploy your application. When to use daemon set, when to use deployment, when to use cron job, when to use stateful set, when to use init containers. So such kind of real scenarios you are going to get actually. Okay, now explanation of multi-container pods, why multi-container pods are useful for you and why we need to use multi-container pods. See, whatever I am speaking here, it might be technical for you, but as of now, for some of the people, but it will be very clear for you in the course actually. Do not worry about that now. Okay, just I need to, my responsibility is to explain the syllabus. So yeah, that's the thing. Imperative and declarative commands. Okay, imperative way is very useful for you when you deal with certifications, and the declarative way is the real-time way that the people uses in order to deploy their applications. Okay, so we are going to see the both. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. Practical examples and use case of above workloads and all these things will be in practical, which I've already mentioned. Right, Kubernetes services and load balancing. Okay, understanding services and its types. Okay, we will be having multiple types of services, right? So cluster IP type of service, node port type of service, load balancer, external name, headless service, all these things we are going to see as part of the practical sessions. Okay, so multi-port services, practical examples and use case of service and its types, understanding the DNS of the service and ports, all these things we are going to see actually, right? Kubernetes storage, right? Kubernetes, to as part of Kubernetes storage, what we are going to understanding volumes in Kubernetes, we are going to understand the volumes. What are volumes? Persistent volumes and persistent volume claims. As part of the persistent volume and persistent volume claim, we have multiple things, access modes, okay, reclaim policies, all these things we are there. Actually, just I have put the persistent volumes and persistent volume claims as part of this, but yeah, that's all there. we are going to see empty div, host path, static volume provisioning, dynamic volume provisioning, and storage classes. Okay, all these things are very important for you as part of your interview, as well as your practical, like in your day-to-day life, as part of your IT career. Okay, so practical examples and use case of storage, everything which I've mentioned is practical, going to be practical actually. Okay, so now configuring workloads. Okay, there are different configurations that you can configure. You can configure with config maps, secrets, sealed secrets, resource requests and limits, resource quota. Okay, requests and limits, resource quota, limit ranges, quality of service class, all these things we are going to see actually. Okay, understanding different types of deployments and their significance. Okay, I mean the strategies of the deployments actually. Okay, rolling updates and recreate that kind of strategies we are going to see. Okay, so configuring horizontal pod autoscaler, it's very interesting actually, this one. Whenever the traffic which is coming to your application is going to be increased, suppose there is a sale in the website. Okay, so the most of the people like will be accessing your application, right? Based on the amount of people accessing your application, automatically your application should be scaled. Okay, so how to scale that application? Using horizontal pod autoscaler. We are going to use this one. Based on the traffic, the scaling will be happening. If the traffic is going to be decreased the next day, the scale down is automatically happening without we interacting manually with the Kubernetes cluster actually. Okay, configuring pods and the policies. Okay, pods with policies like image pull policy. Okay, the commands and arguments and disadvantages, explanation of namespaces. What are namespaces? There are probes actually for the health checks, liveness probe, readiness probe, and the startup probes. Practical examples and use cases. Everything as part of this, everything in our course will be a practical manner. Okay, so scheduling, as part of the scheduling, see here after this part, before the scheduling, we are going to do the project. Okay, so I've not mentioned here, but yeah, we are going to do the project at this place after the configuring workloads. Okay, now scheduling, as part of scheduling, manual scheduling of workloads, of course, and on the node name. Okay, so taints and tolerations using labels and selectors, node affinity, pod anti-affinity. What is the difference between taints and tolerations and node affinity? Practical examples, everything we are going to see as part of this. Okay, the scheduling. Okay, we are going to see. Suppose when you deploy any applications, there are two types of nodes in the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so master node, worker nodes. Why your applications will only deploy to the worker nodes? Why your applications will not deploy to the master node? Okay, such kind of things we are also going to see. Okay, so okay, that's the thing actually. After that scheduling, we will be moving towards the security. As part of the security, we are going to understand the service accounts. What are service accounts in Kubernetes with Kubernetes? And we are going to deploy the Kubernetes dashboard application where you can visualize your Kubernetes cluster actually. Okay, so roles and role bindings, cluster role binding. Okay, RBAC, role-based access control. Suppose in your company, there might be different people, different teams, right? So there might be developer team, there might be tester team, there might be quality team, okay, quality assurance team, QA team, right? So each and every team should not have entire access to your Kubernetes cluster. Based on the role and based on the team, the access should be given within the Kubernetes cluster. If they are developers, they should be only be able to view the applications that are deployed to Kubernetes cluster. Okay, if they are testers, only they will be able to test the application, but not entire application. How to control the access? How to control the access using RBAC? Okay, role based access control. Okay, that's what we are going to see. And static pods, and everything will be in practical. Okay, networking. As part of the networking, we are going to towards the introduction to networking in Kubernetes. What is ingress? What is its significance? Practical examples of Nginx and the Kong ingress control, path-based routing and host-based routing. We are going to, like, I am going to purchase. If you want to purchase, you can also purchase. But yeah, I am going to purchase a domain in the what is this, GoDaddy, and I am going to use this domain. Whenever you type any, suppose after doing this host-based routing, suppose if you type in the www.youtube, for example, I'm taking www.youtube.com. What is happening internally? when you type that www.youtube.com. Okay, what is happening? How your request is going to that YouTube application? You will be able to understand. Okay, so that's a host-based routing. We are going to deploy our applications into the Kubernetes cluster, and we will be attaching a domain. Okay, I have purchased a domain called traffic.org.in. Okay, so this is a domain I have purchased. Whenever you type traffic.org.in, your traffic will be reaching to your application that is there as part of your Kubernetes cluster. That's a very important path-based routing and the host-based routing. Okay, so understanding the network policies and use cases, practical examples and use case of networking, everything will be practical in entire course. Okay, so after networking, we will be seeing monitoring and troubleshooting, how to perform logging and monitoring. Okay, how to perform logging and monitoring, what are the different problems? Again, what are the different problems that may occur in the Kubernetes? How to solve those problems, and if any problem appears, how to solve the problems. Okay, you will be understanding that as part of the troubleshooting. Okay, different issues that may occur in Kubernetes cluster, visiting logs and debugging applications to debug applications actually. Okay, describing applications to debug applications, understanding the problems of and the significance. Okay, a monitoring cluster with Kubernetes dashboard, right? We are going to see all these things. Okay, other tools which we have is the Helm chats. Okay, we are going towards the Helm chats. After that, installing Helm and working with it, different Helm commands, templating as per the Helm, functions, conditions, loops, all these things we are going to see as part of the Helm templating and the name templates. Okay, Helm folder structure, actually you can see that here as part of this. Everything we are going to see which is required for you as part of the Helm actually. Project on Helm chats. Okay, we are going to the project on Helm chats. Okay, now projects, after that we are moving towards a project combination of Jenkins, Docker and Kubernetes and KNS and Argo CD. We have a tool called Argo CD. On that Argo CD also we are going to do a project. Okay, now this is the Kubernetes syllabus that we have as part of this course. Okay, a large amount of syllabus and with in-depth concepts. Okay, so these are the different concepts that we are going to see as part of the Kubernetes. Then once the Kubernetes syllabus got completed, we will be moving towards the Jenkins, right? So as part of Jenkins, we will be understanding as part of the Jenkins introduction, we will be understanding Jenkins introduction, continuous integration and continuous deployment. Okay, introduction to Jenkins and installation, how to install Jenkins, how to create a master slave architecture in Jenkins. Okay, so explanation of technical terms in Jenkins, also what is Jenkins controller, what is Jenkins slave, what is Jenkins job. Okay, so all these things we are going to see as part of this introduction. See, each and every concept when we are going to start, we will be understanding the technical terms. Okay, because in order to get the clear understanding of that particular concept. Okay, so Jenkins deep dive, we are going to create a freestyle project and pipeline syntax. Okay, we are going to creating working with pipeline projects. Okay, so creating and working with multi-branch pipeline project, exploring various options that we have as part of the creating pipelines actually. Okay, different options that we have when we create a pipeline. Okay, so Jenkins integration, we are going to integrate Jenkins with GitHub. We are going to integrate Jenkins with SonarQube. We are going to integrate Jenkins with Docker Hub. We are going to integrate Jenkins with Trevi. We are going to integrate our Jenkins with Kubernetes to deploy automatic deployment. Okay, to deploy our applications. And we are also going to integrate Jenkins with S3 buckets, to store our artifacts like jar files, which is created from our Spring Boot application. Okay, so all these things we are going to integrate with. Okay, now Jenkins configuration. Once integration got completed, now you are going to configure the Jenkins. Okay, now what are the different options that are available in order to configure Jenkins? Configuring credentials, configuring environment variables, custom environment variables, Jenkins pipeline with parameters, how to configure parameters. There are different types of parameters that we have, Boolean parameter, string parameter, okay, something like that. Okay, so configuring upstream and downstream projects, predefined environment variables with Jenkins pipeline, user and role management in Jenkins, using plugins with Jenkins, exploring Jenkins stash and working with what is Jenkins stash and all the things actually. Now, Jenkins troubleshooting and backup, how to troubleshoot issues faced and possible problems as part of Jenkins. What are the different problems that may occur as part of the Jenkins? Okay, how to solve those problems? Okay, what is the reason why you got the problem? That's how we are going to discuss. Okay, so backup and restore things, restore required things from the Jenkins machine. All these things we are going to see as part of Jenkins. This is a Jenkins syllabus that we are going to see actually. And the projects on combination of Jenkins, Java, Maven, SonarCube, Docker, Trivi, and Kubernetes, and S3 also we are going to put here. S3 is the data store. I'm going to explain what is S3 before integrating our project with S3. Okay, what is S3 and why we use that? And then when you get a clear idea, we are going to integrate that S3 to our project. Okay, so that is a full syllabus of our course. Our course duration is going to be 45 days. Okay, so this is the entire syllabus that we are going to see as part of our course. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask. If not, we will be moving towards the presentation of projects. Any questions, please?
But sir, I have one question. Writing the maybe Groovy script or maybe other script. So how can I write in this course?
So Groovy scripts is coming under programming, right? We have not included any of the programming as part of this course. Okay, so that is the reason we did not include. We do not include any programming. Okay, we purely focus on Docker, Jenkins, and Kubernetes.
But for example, if you want to write maybe a pipeline, CI/CD, so maybe I think it will
Yeah,
be.
yeah. If you want, I can explain you how to write a small Groovy scripts, but not very internals of that. Okay, how to write functions, how to write different things as part of the Groovy scripts. Yes, you are right. As part of the pipelines, people uses the Groovy scripts, but yeah, our intention is not to include programming. But yeah, if you people are interested, I can include some parts of Groovy, loops, conditions, and functions, and all the things.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, sir. So
Yeah.
I had joined a bit late, but I am from automation background. So I just
Okay.
wanted to know, like, how far it will be helpful for me, like Kubernetes and all. And you're not starting from Jenkins, you're starting from Docker and Kubernetes.
Yes,
So
yes. See, Jenkins, why I'm starting for Docker and Kubernetes, because Jenkins is kind of an automation. With Jenkins, what we mainly do is automation. Okay, so without knowing the manual things, first you need to understand how to do manually, right? Without understanding manually, okay, you cannot automate. First, you need to understand manual things, how to create and how to do with manually, and that manual steps you can automate, right? So that is the reason, as Jenkins is comes under automation part, that is the reason I have put Docker and Kubernetes in front, and after that Jenkins I have put, because whatever the concepts we have learned in the Docker and Kubernetes, that are going to be automated with the Jenkins pipelines. Okay, so that is the reason I have put. Actually, it is very useful for you, because that is how we need to learn. First, you need to learn manual things, how to do manually, then only automation you can learn actually. Okay, without learning manual things, you cannot put that automated way directly. Okay, so that's the thing.
okay, sure. And another thing is, I guess we need to know something about shell scripting also for this, right? So how far do we need shell scripting? Can we
No,
manage
no, no,
with the
no.
basics?
Yes, you can manage with the basics. We do not require any shell scripting here. Okay, we are we do not require. Actually, I did not include any of the shell scripts. If you somewhere something we can have actually some echo statements or the if conditions, that's useful, but yeah, those also will not be used actually in the classes. Okay, so if you have shell scripting knowledge, basic knowledge is enough. That if you are not knowing the shell scripting also, that is also enough, no problem. Okay, because we are not using any shell scripting.
Do we have classes on weekends also?
No, we do not have class on weekends. We have class from Monday to Friday. Sorry.
5 days, 9 weeks. Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any kind of special setup we need to do in our system, or just the whatever you say, that's it?
No,
We need
whatever
any.
I say, whatever I say, you can do that. Only if you are interested, you can install WSL if you are using Windows. Okay, so WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux, you can install that one. That's it. Other than that, I'll be telling everything in the classes. It's a small software you need to install. Okay, that's very simple. Okay.
Hey, hi Shiva, this is Deepika.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mainly work as a cloud automation developer. Like I automate the process of provisioning different kinds of servers in different cloud environments, consider like vSphere and AWS. And I do not have any idea on this Docker, Kubernetes, and Jenkins. See, all these projects that you have mentioned, we'll be doing on AWS, right? Using Docker
Yes.
and
Yes.
Kubernetes.
Everything is going to be on AWS. Wherever we require, we only use AWS cloud, but not any other clouds actually. Yes, you're right.
Okay, that's totally fine. And you told we'll be performing number of projects, right? I mean, can you
Yes.
just tell me one example that what kind of projects that we'll be doing, just on a high level?
No, I have a separate presentation on that. I am not only one example. I am going to explain you 6 different projects now.
Okay. I mean, just for my understanding, what do we do using Kubernetes and Docker on AWS?
So suppose we deploy applications onto
Okay.
Kubernetes with
Mm-hmm.
by using Docker images. Okay. So suppose in your Kubernetes, after deployment, any application is down, you are going to get an alerts from your alert manager to your Slack channel or to your email, something like that. We are going to set up. We are going to extract logs from your applications and send it to Elasticsearch. From there, we can view the logs as part of the Kibana. These are all, everything is real-time use case actually. But yeah, that's the thing for
Okay,
your example. But
Shiva,
yeah.
just one question. You
Mhm.
just told that it's a Docker image. Is Docker image just like a AMI of
Yes,
AWS?
yes, it's like an AMI, but a small differences will be there actually. Docker images
Mhm.
are mainly for the applications. Okay,
Okay,
but
okay. I
AMI is
mean that
different.
yeah,
Yeah.
instead of provisioning the servers, we directly use Docker image and deploy application. Am I right?
Yes, yes, you are right.
Okay. Yeah, got your point. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And how many number of classes we'll have and how many days this might take, the entire course?
Entire course we are planning from 45 to 50 days, between 45 and 50.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Thank you.
And what will
Yeah.
be the duration every day? 1 hour or 1.5 hour?
See, 1 hour will be class and 15 minutes for your question.
Okay.
Out of that 1 hour, one hour will be entire class. After that 1 hour, if you have any questions within the 15 minutes, you can ask. So that, yeah.
Okay. And AWS, whatever is required, you will tell us, right? Because I'm not
Yes.
aware of that.
Yes. Whatever required for you in AWS, we are going to mention. Okay. So how to create initially from very scratch, I'm going to mention actually. Do not worry about that. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. One second. Where is, sorry, not this one. I have a presentation on projects. So I need to fetch out that presentation.
Shiva, one quick thing, Ramdev here. Whatever you
Yeah.
are doing in the Kubernetes, that is sufficient for certification, right?
Yes, that is certification for 2 certifications. One is developer associate and other one is certified Kubernetes administrator.
Okay. And real time also it's useful, right?
Yes. It is useful for your real time also.
When the planning to start that one classes?
It's regular classes only after this. Okay, this is first class and it's regular class only we are going to.
Oh, by tomorrow onwards you are going to start, right?
Yes. Yes, yes, we are going to start from tomorrow only. We are going to start
Tomorrow
from
is
this
holiday,
part.
Monday onwards, right? You
Monday, sorry, yeah, Monday. Sorry, Monday. So we are going to start from this place.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, now let's move towards our projects actually. Let me show you the projects actually. These are the different projects we have. This is an optional project for you. It's a STO, deals with STO service mesh. Okay, project number 7 is very optional for you. And let me explain the projects one by one. Okay, this is the project which we are going to do as part of the Docker. This project includes multiple concepts of Docker, which whatever the concepts that I have included as part of this project is Dockerfile, Docker volumes, Docker compose, Docker networking, container communication, all these things which we are going to learn. See, we are going to learn individually initially. Okay, like what is Docker volumes, and we are going to do some practicals on Docker volumes. Okay, this is what, and what is Docker compose? We are going to do some practicals on Docker compose. This is something like that. How to combine Docker volumes and Docker compose? Like we are going to do as a project. Combination of all the concepts which we learn as part of the Docker will be becoming a project for you. Okay, so in such manner we are going to learn. Okay, this is going to be a project number 1 where we have 2 different microservices. Okay, so one is our student store application and the MongoDB application, where the student store application is converted into a Docker image from our Docker file, and these 2 containers are going to be communicated with the port numbers and all the things. You can see the lines, and we are going to use the different tools. I forgot to mention, we are going to use the different tools actually. We are going to use the Postman, we are going to use Mongo Compass, we are going to use KNNS, we are going to use kubectl, we are going to use EKCTL. So different tools are there we are going to use as part of this course. You are going to get the knowledge there also. Okay, so from the Postman, we are going to send the API request. What is an API? So when we deal with the API, whatever technical terms I am speaking, API. What is an API? Why it is used for? And in such manner, we are going to learn actually. So, okay, we are going to send our API request to our Spring Boot application. This Spring Boot application will store the data to MongoDB, and get API in the post API we have as part of the Spring Boot application. And whenever the student store application store the data to this MongoDB, we are going to visualize the data from this Mongo Compass, whether the data is actually storing to this MongoDB or not. Okay, we are going to create this 2 different Docker containers as part of the custom network, and we are going to do port forwardings. Okay, so ultimately we are including all the concepts that we are going to learn. I have put the main concepts actually. Okay, concepts which we have learned as for the Docker in this project number 1. Okay, so this is going to be your project number 1. Okay, this project will be very useful for you in understanding the other projects actually. That is why you need to first understand the basic project, then only the complexity of the project is going to be increased in the next step. Okay, so let me go to the project number 2. Okay, now this is going to be a project number 2. This is the Docker, Kubernetes project. So this is the project which I've explained in the 8 AM batch today, the architecture diagram. Let me show that architecture. This is the actual visualization of that particular project actually. But if I actually show you, this is going to be the architecture diagram for that particular project. You can see that this is going to be the architecture diagram. Okay, so now let me go here. I don't want to confuse you by showing that one actually. Okay, this one, if you view like this, it is very simple. Okay, so something like this we are going to do. We are going to deploy our applications to this Kubernetes cluster, and we are going to deploy 2 different microservices. One is student store application and the MongoDB application. We are going to provision the volumes from the AWS EBS. Okay, I'm going to explain what is EBS and all the things, but yeah, do not worry about that. Okay, so how to connect these applications to this particular other application using the service. Okay, we are going to download the Docker image from the private repository. That is, we are going to use the AWS ECR. See, whatever the AWS concepts I am using in this class, we are going to see first the concepts, and then only we are going to integrate that one. Okay, so because my intention is to get, so we can use from the different place also. Why? In order to back up the data from our MongoDB application. So we are going to use the health checks, liveness probe, readiness probe, startup probe, horizontal probe autoscaler, secret, config map, limits, namespaces, resource quota, jobs, cron jobs. All these things we are going to see as part of this, as part of this project number 2. Okay, so persistent volume claim, storage classes, EBS volume, AWS EBS CSI driver, okay, services, deployments, replicas, exports, okay, ECR, all these things we are seeing as part of this project number 2 actually. Okay, this is a project number 2 we are going to discuss. Okay, then after this project number 2, we have our project number 3. What is the difference between the project number 2 and the project number 3 is, in the project number 3, we have included the security as well as the networking. Okay, so here we are going to integrate our applications with our domain names, networking, how to perform networking, how to, like, ingress controllers we have included as part of this. We are going to see the Nginx ingress controller and the Kong ingress controller, and based on the API request, suppose that you type www.youtube.com/test, where that API request should be reached. Okay, suppose if you type www.youtube.com/demo in your browser, where that API request, where that request need to be sent to backend. Okay, to which backend? So such kind of rules we are going to write as part of this ingress controller, ingress object actually. Okay, so we are going to map the load balancer, which is going to be, see, all these things might be technical, but yeah, please bear with me. I need to explain the syllabus in the projects so that you will be getting a clear picture. Okay, so we are going to map this one. It will be very clear in the class actually. Okay, do not worry. Well, load balancer, we are going to perform the DNS resolution using Route 53 service. What is Route 53 in the AWS also we are going to see. Okay, so we are going to, I have already told you, we have purchased a domain from the GoDaddy, that is traffic.org.in. Okay, so we are going to mount that particular domain to our load balancer, like perform DNS resolution there and send the API request to this applications that is deployed in the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so this is the project number 3 that we are discussing. Okay, the project number 4 is this one. We are going to integrate our manifest files. We are going to convert our manifest file with Helm charts, convert our things to Helm charts. We are going to integrate our Kubernetes cluster with KNS dashboard and the Kubernetes dashboard. Okay, so we will be having our manifest. Suppose we have our manifest files, like Kubernetes manifest files. We will be storing that Kubernetes manifest files in the GitHub repository or the Bitbucket repository or wherever repository which you have actually. Okay, version control system, that is GitHub. Okay, whenever there is something change that is happened to this manifest file, suppose I have a new version of the application, a new version need to be released to the Kubernetes cluster. So whenever there is any change that is happened in the GitHub repository to that manifest files, automatically that change will be detected by this Argo CD tool. Argo CD, GitHub's way of deploying our applications to this Kubernetes cluster, will be detected by the Argo CD tool and deploy that applications to the Kubernetes cluster automatically without you manually deploying that. Argo CD he will take care of that for you. Okay, that is the Argo CD, and the Helm chart is like templating tool that we are going to use as part of the this. And we are going to convert the entire our manifest files into a Helm templates. Okay, so actually I have in this diagram, I have put the 2 different projects also. Actually, Helm is different project and the Argo CD is different project, but yeah, and combinedly is going to be one project, the project number 4 actually. So that's fine. Okay, but this is a project number 4 that we are going to have. This is a KNS dashboard, middle one, and this is a Kubernetes dashboard. Okay, this is the rancher that we have. Okay, so this is project number 4, and this is the project number 5. Elasticsearch log stash, Elasticsearch Fluent Bit and Kibana. Okay, so how to fetch the logs that is generated from by your application from the Kubernetes cluster, how to fetch that and how to send it to Elasticsearch, and from the Elasticsearch you can view the logs as per the Kibana dashboard, something like this here. And this is a real see, all these things are real use cases, okay, which we are discussing as a projects. Okay, you can put as part of the resume also, I have did this EFK stack, which I have configured for my Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so what is EFK stack? They are going to ask you a question, something like that. Okay, so that's very important. Okay, this is the EFK stack for the fetching of the logs from your Kubernetes cluster applications. Okay, EFK stack. Now this is going to be a like metrics collection. Okay, that is, we are going to have our Kubernetes clusters. cluster we are going to have, we are going to fetch out the metrics from the Kubernetes cluster using Prometheus, and you can use the Prometheus metrics as per the Grafana dashboard. You are going to get nice visualization, something like this. Okay, so okay, we can able to view there how much amount of CPU that this pod is using, how much amount of memory this pod is using. Okay, we can take the decisions by visiting the dashboard. Okay, this node is using this much amount of CPU, and I need to, as this node is using this much amount of CPU, I need to check whether why this node is using that much amount of CPU. Okay, so such kind of decisions you can take. If any problem appears, you need to solve the problem. If the CPU is increasing based on the traffic, then you need to add one more node to the Kubernetes cluster. So you can take such decisions so that every 24/7 your application will always be in upstate actually. Okay, so that's a Grafana and Prometheus we have actually. But I have different diagram, which is, yeah, this is the one. Okay, we are going to have this only actually, this project only actually, but it is looking like complex. That is why I have put this diagram here. But yeah, for you, so something like that is actually architecture diagram. This is going to be a Prometheus server. We are going to have an alert manager. Okay, it will be sending alerts to your Slack channel or the pager duty or the email address, and we are going to configure Slack channel with the alert manager. That means whenever there is suppose you have deployed your application on the Kubernetes cluster. Suppose that that application is not working properly. That application is continuously restarting. Okay, so the application went to error state. So you are going to immediately get that notification as part of your Slack channel saying that this application is down. Okay, for example, how you are getting the notifications, let me help you. Okay, let me go here. Let me go to the channel called where we have alerting. Okay, so you are going to get something like this. Okay, firing. Okay, instance down. Data store API. So this is the application that is going to be down. Once that application is fixed, you will also get the notification that application is being fixed. Okay, something like this. You are going to get the notifications as part of your Slack channel from your Kubernetes cluster. Whenever the application goes down in your Kubernetes cluster from the alert manager using Prometheus server. Okay, so all these things we are going to see actually. It might be sounds technical for you, but do not worry as of now. Okay, so let me close this. This is a project number 6. This project number 7 is very optional for you, but based on the time and things, I'm going to explain you. This project deals with the service mesh, STO, and the Kiali. It's for the traffic management. Okay, so and the security purpose. Okay, different things that is provided to us, different functionalities that we have as part of the STO. But yeah, this is optional. Now, this is a project number 8. Everything is automated. Everything is automated in this. Whenever the developer pushed his code to the GitHub repository, automatically a Jenkins pipeline is going to start. Jenkins pipeline. Okay. As part of our Jenkins pipeline, what we are going to have is something like this in this manner. Okay. As part of our Jenkins pipeline, first stage of our Jenkins pipeline is to fetch the code from the GitHub repository to our Jenkins machine and use it and execute the Maven build. It is going to build our project. And after this building, and it is going to execute our test cases. After this execution of the test cases, we are going to integrate our project with the SonarQube. What is this SonarQube does is SonarQube is something like a vulnerability tool. It is going to check if any vulnerabilities are there in your Kubernetes, in your application, and it has something called quality gates and all the things actually. So yeah, we are going to integrate with the SonarQube. And once the SonarQube is successful, once the SonarQube stage is successful as part of the Jenkins, we are going to push the artifact which is created as part of the build stage using this one to the, here I have put JFrog, but yeah, we are going to push towards the S3 bucket as part of the AWS actually. Okay, in the place of JFrog, you are going to get S3. Okay, do not worry about that now. Okay, so once that artifact is pushed, what is an artifact? We are going to see that one also. What is an artifact? The terminology also we are going to see. Okay, so once the artifact is pushed to the what is that? like S3 bucket, we are going to convert our application Docker image. Once the Docker image is created, a Trivy tool will be there that is going to scan our Docker image for any vulnerabilities. Okay, so once the scanning got completed, we are going to push this Docker image to the Docker Hub. Once the pushing has been completed, we are going to have the cleanup activities. Once the cleanup activities got completed, we are going to trigger the downstream project. Okay, downstream job we are going to trigger from the upstream job. This is going to be upstream job and is going to be a downstream job. And what this downstream job does, downstream job updates the manifest files in the GitHub repository, right? Once the updations has been done in the GitHub repository, the automatically Argo CD tool will be triggered, and the deployment updations are going to be deployed to the Kubernetes cluster automatically and we can view the updated code as part of the Kubernetes, updated application as part of the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, here everything is automated. Only developer need to push his code to the GitHub repository. That's it. Everything until the deployment of that application is entirely automated. Okay, you no need of doing any manual steps. We are going to set up this, how to do this automation, we are going to set up this as part of this project number 8. This is the last project we are going to do, and I have already mentioned this project number 7 is an optional project, and this is a project number 8. Okay, so these are the different projects that we are going to do as part of this course. Okay, so all the real-time projects actually. Okay, so if you notice, okay, that's the thing. Okay, if you have any questions, you can ask. If someone put something in chat actually, is this course helpful for developer too? Yes, it is it is helpful for developer too, developer also. Okay, and what about class timings? Fixed or no, it's fixed timings for you, 9:30 to 10:30. It's fixed timings. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask. You can also put in the chat if you do not want to ask. Is this interesting? Are the projects are interesting? Can someone talk, please? The duration of the course is 45 to 50 days. Yeah, the duration of the course is 45 to 50 days, excluding weekends. Can anyone talk, please? I'm not sure you are there
Yes,
or not.
projects are interesting. I'm very much looking forward to project number 8.
Yeah.
Which is the final one.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me know that. Okay. So
Will
that's a
we be
class for.
getting,
Yeah.
sorry for interrupting. Will we
No
be getting
problem.
any kind of notes, or we can take the notes parallelly when the class is going on?
You are going to get the theory notes for the Docker and Jenkins. For the Kubernetes, I'm going to share you the manifest files and the interview questions.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for joining. Okay. You please go ahead and register for the course. Okay, if you are interested. And yeah, we'll be meeting on next class on that is on Monday actually. Hi Shiva, free tier account is enough or we need to pay extra for EKS? Yeah, extra EKS if you use, I'm going to show you 3 different ways of creating clusters. One is Kubedium, AWS EKS, and we are going to use a Minikube also. Okay, so whatever preferable for you, you can use that. But yeah, EKS is chargeable. That is also very less charge. Okay, so is it possible to give the recordings of the sessions if we miss them during the class? Yes, you are going to get the drive access where our recordings is going to be uploaded to the drive, and you will be able to access that recordings for 6 months duration actually. Okay, so you need to understand. Yeah. And the in the session, like what is that? and the documents will be uploaded to that particular drive, drive actually. Yeah, drive. Okay. And someone put something. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Please go ahead and join for the join the course. Okay. So thanks for joining. I'll meet you on next class, that is on Monday at the same time, 9:30 a.m. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shiva.